So that was very poignant. I read through the whole thing. I thought that was good. So in case you don't know what I'm talking about, Francine sent us a service, a full service that you give to a beloved pet that has died. And I never saw that. I do have from the reform movement, on Friday night, was a special prayer that we say for our dog and for a cat. For the dog, it's like you should be as noble, as courageous as there was one of the spies has a name like a dog, and the cat, we say blessings, but that was from the reform movement. So Francine, was that from reform or was that from a conservative source?
Truthfully, I don't remember. I found it several years ago for a friend of mine who was having a hard time with her pet loss.
Yeah.
And I remember we used it then, but I don't remember. It might be conservative.
It's very difficult. So I think I did ask my rabbi once, and he says, if you want to say it, there's nothing against it. You know, if there's no law against doing it, that would be the same answer in terms of Mourner's Kaddish. If you have a very good friend and it's not an immediate member of your family, you're not obligated to say the Mourner's Kaddish, or if it's a great aunt or something like that. However, if you want to, and if you want to celebrate their yard site, there's nothing that says you can't. You know, so those things, so when he says that to me, that leaves it open. That's interpretive, which is really what conservative Judaism is. It's very much interpretive. And if you read commentaries, one rabbi will say this, and another rabbi will refute it, and a third rabbi will have a third opinion. And so that's the beauty of it, though, because it's open for intellectual discussion and debate. And that's really what I love about it, that there's so many interpretations of the Torah and of the Psalms and the prayers. So that's really good. And Elizabeth is here. Okay. Okay, I love it. All right, I think we're really good to go. Okay, yeah.
Carol, I thought I'd
Yes.
mention, my daughter got me onto an app on my phone for Duolingo, and I just have the free version, but I've been using it to practice Hebrew, particularly to really get more solid on the alphabet. And you can set it up for like short bursts, kind of
Really,
every day.
I have Duolingo. I had to get that to school because they send you a push, you know, to get to our employee email from BOCES. We have to go to Duolingo and see that they send us like a secret password. You'd think I'm working for the CIA when it's BOCES to get into the employee email, you know, very explosive stuff there. So I'm going to look into that. That's a great. Yeah.
Great
Yeah,
idea.
you know, I just have the free version, and I found you know, I just put myself down for 10 or 15 minutes a day, but I find sometimes I'm doing, you know, like 2 lessons because it moves so fast.
That's great. That's really wonderful. Elizabeth, are you home?
Yes, I'm home. Hi.
Wow, I always see you in your scrubs. You always look like you're ready to get that airplane or that helicopter and receive it and do something very important.
Oh,
I
yeah.
never see you relaxing. Good to see you. You have a day off?
Thank you. I came home on time.
Nice, very nice. Okay,
Yeah.
so I would like to get started with this, the Yud, the as you say, you know, with the pronunciation, there are lots of rules, and that's why I've been going over these, just because sometimes, you know, you all had a beginner's class, and some of you didn't, and maybe you never realized these pronunciation bumps in the road, I would say, because it's not intuitive, that's for sure. So the silent Yud, it says the Yud is not sounded when you read any letter. Let's say it's an Aleph and a Kamatz, a Yud and a Vav. So you don't say I've, you say of, and forget that the yud is there. It's of, and it's only at the end of a word. You won't see it in the middle, you won't see it at the beginning, so it's only at the end. So these three words would be alav, which means upon him, uvanav, and his sons, and korav. Okay, and in the third example, there's a kamatz under the aleph. It's sounded korav, but yud vav is always, the yud vav is always going to be of. Okay, so then we look at some of the words below. All right, so say them after me. Let's take a look at the first line. It goes 1 and 2. Let's do 1 and 2. So it would be yadav,
Yadav,
and they broke it up, ya and dav, into the 2 syllables, which I think was very smart. And then under 2, it's alav,
alav,
because the ayin is silent. Okay, and 3 is enav.
enav,
And in the Torah, it says, Vayisa et enav, and talk about Abraham, and he raised his eyes, enav. Enayim are eyes, ayin, and the famous quote in the Torah is ayin tachat, ayin shin tachat shin. Does anyone know what that means? An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Hammurabi's code. Okay, you fought with me and you punched me in the face and my tooth fell out. Now I'm going to punch you back so that your tooth falls out. It was kind of primitive, like caveman stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had enav, and then we have achshav.
Achshav,
Achshav means now, right now. Achshav, achshav, but Emet Yisrael, achshav, right now. Achshav. Okay, and then under the 5, it's chas dav.
Achshav,
Okay, his mercies, his compassion. And the number 6 is mitzvo tav. And that would mean his mitzvahs. Now, the second syllable, which is vo, you see the vav there, but there it is acting like a full vav, like a sounded V, a letter. It's not a vav there. Mitzvo tav. Okay, so there's a vav, and the vav has a dot over it, so it's mitzvo tav. Otherwise, it would have been mitzotav, and it's not. It's mitzvotav, and it comes from the root mitzvah. Okay, and mitzvah really means commandment. We always say it's a kind act, a good charitable act, but it really means commandment. There's 613 mitzvot. Okay, so anyone who is a theologian or, really a rabbi will translate it as a commandment. Okay. Okay, so when we say blessings, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, which that he sanctified us, asher, that kiddushanu, he made us holy, with mitzvotav, his commandments. We're referring to God. Okay, we say that, and we don't even know what we're saying, but we say all these blessings. Okay, under 7, divarav.
Divarav,
Davar is word. It means his words, divarav. And the next under 8 is mishpatav. Mishpatav. Okay, look carefully at the pay and at the tet. Okay, see if you can really get that difference in your brain, because they're a little similar. They both have that little thing hanging down, but that's a pay and a tet. So it's mishpatav. Okay, his families. Okay, and number 9, panav. Now that's interesting. In English, the word face is singular, right? My face, your face, his face. But in Hebrew, it's panim. Panim is face. So when I said to my dog sometimes, "Oi, eza panim yafot," I have to make the adjective plural. What a nice faces. It's not cheeks, it's face. And in Yiddish, of course, it's punim. Zisa punim.
right.
Okay, so I don't know if punim in Yiddish, anyone know Yiddish, if it's singular or plural, but I know in Hebrew you have to say panim yafot. Okay, the nice face, so cute. Okay, so panav, so there's that pay again, and it looks like it has like a little nose in the middle with an eye. Panav,
Enough.
panav, and then it's be mitzvotav. Now, I told you when we started that Hebrew is like a kite, okay? And a lot of things are added in the beginning and in the end. Classic example, you have the be, which is a prefix, it means with or in. And then you have the av, the yud vav, which means his. And it's, the yud shows there that it's plural, be mitzvotav, with his mitzvot. All of that with his, it's 3 words in one Hebrew word. Very compact, isn't it? The mitzvotav. And that's in the blessings, right? Kishanu, the mitzvotav, we say it all the time. We say it on candlelight tonight, the mitzvotav. We don't think about what it means.
So what did you say makes it plural? Was it the tav?
Okay, the yud there makes it plural
Yud makes it.
because, yeah, like plural words, if I want to say moreh, which is a male teacher, and I say morim with a yud mem ending, that makes it plural. So dod is uncle, dodim would be plural, but this is possessive. The yud vav shows that it would be his mitzvot. Now these are just Hebrew grammar. You know, when you get involved in Hebrew grammar, you get used to these endings, okay? And maybe you never do, but but that's the intention. All right, so just remember this, and if you get stuck sometimes, I would take a clip and all the reading rules that I've given you, I put a paper clip on them. And so if you see an ending in something and you just can't remember how to say it, take one of these things out. It's like a little cheat sheet. I think that'll help. So on to the mourner's cottage. I asked you the question, what does yahrzeit mean? Now, yahrzeit is a Yiddish word. So what is a yahrzeit when we celebrate somebody's yahrzeit?
Literally, you said it means year of time.
Year's time, right. Yar is year and sight is time. So at the end of 1 year's time, according to the Hebrew calendar, when the person died, and usually, you know, I'll get like a notification from my synagogue. When you join the synagogue, they want to know what's the Hebrew date the person died on, not the English. They want to know. And if you give them the English date and they have a Hebrew calendar, they'll look it up and they'll know what the Hebrew is. My grandchildren who are Lubavitch, they celebrate their Hebrew birthday. I don't. I don't have that calendar. I celebrate their English birthday, but they know their Hebrew birthday. Okay, good for them. A big gazette. Okay, so the yahrzeit. And recently we went, it was my husband's mother's yahrzeit. So I went with my stick and hobbled along. Now, there were only 11 people. So what to do? In our synagogue, they have a special prayer. So you can't say certain prayers. So you can't say the mourner's cottage without 10 people. You have to have a minyan. But we have a very nice prayer that is in honor of somebody's death that is really very nice. And it's said to honor them if you don't have 10 people. So we did that. But there's certain prayers that we couldn't say, but it was very nice, and I'm glad we went. Okay, now the mourner's Kaddish is found. I put page 512 in Sim Shalom, page 207 in Lev Shalem. And by the way, Sim Shalom means make peace, and Lev is heart. Lev Shalem is a full heart. Doesn't have to do with Lev Shalem. Lev Shalem, a full heart. Okay. Shlema is fullness. Okay, so I am going to give you a homework assignment for next week. I'm going to tell you right now what it is. And I can get ready for a homework assignment. I used, and Charlene knows I used to give little homework assignments, matching things. Okay, so there's going to be 2 things. I'm going to send you a secret message I'm going to send it to you in Hebrew letters because I have a Hebrew typewriter. It takes me time because you have to push 2 buttons to get to the Hebrew, but I will send it to you. It will be some kind of a secret message, like maybe 2 sentences. It will not have vowels.
Wait,
So you're, oi. I heard the first oi.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Okay, you're, you're gonna have to try to sound it out. Francine is giving me one of those looks. You're gonna- She's giving, I'm sure that your family has seen those looks. You're gonna have to try to sound it out as best you can, knowing the sounds of all the Hebrew letters. And in my past life with other classes, they did great, right, Charlene? People were able to figure it out.
They were.
Did you? Yes, they were. They really were. So that's one. I will send that to you soon. Maybe not today, but over the weekend. And the second one is I'm going to prove to you from this prayer, even though it's in Aramaic, that you all know enough shorashim. Shorash is a root. And a Hebrew word is built on a root of 3 letters. And they always like, the first letter is always in that one position. The second letter is always in that middle position. And the third letter is always in the third position. You can't scramble them because if you do, you'll get an entirely different word. So I am going to give you a matching. There'll be about 10 Hebrew roots in Hebrew. I'll have 3 letters, and that's a root. Like kadosh, it's a kuf, a resh, and a shin. Kadosh. You've seen that in Kiddush and Kaddish. Okay, you've seen that a lot, and it means holy, to make holy or sanctify, means the same thing. So I'll have make holy, as I'll have English, 10 English choices, and you'll have to match them up. And the next time we meet, next Friday, I'll give you the answers. Okay, and then I'm going to try to send you that service for animals, which was really very beautiful because I'm very attached. I have a 10-year-old, going to be 10-year-old dog, and I'm going to be looking for a young dog at North Shore Animal League soon, maybe over the vacation or over Thanksgiving break or something. So that will be your 2-pronged homework. Okay, now, when we take a look at the Mourner's Kaddish, what strikes you as odd? This is a prayer for somebody who has died. This prayer could be said on the earth side of the person, their anniversary, their Hebrew anniversary of their death, or it could be said in the 7 days of Shiva, right when your heart is hurting the most and you feel the most wounded and desperate and desolate, right? Especially if it's somebody really close to you. And we know that age doesn't matter how old the person is. It's just the intimacy of losing somebody. So we say the Mourner's Kaddish. Something strikes us as very odd in the words. So I am going to read to you. I'll take from Lev Shalem, 207. And this is really odd. Okay, this is what it says in English, okay, in Lev Shalem, in 207. May God's great name be exalted and hallowed throughout the created world as is God's wish. May God's sovereignty soon be established in your lifetime and in your days and in the days of all the houses of Israel. And we say, Amen. May God's great name be acknowledged forever and ever. Now the mourners say, may the name of the Holy One be acknowledged and celebrated, lauded and worshiped, exalted and honored, extolled and acclaimed, though God, who is blessed, is truly far beyond all acknowledgement and praise, or any expressions of gratitude or consolation ever spoken in the world. And we say, Amen. May heaven bestow on us and all Israel life and abundant and lasting peace. And we say, Amen. May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to us and to all Israel and to all who dwell on earth. And we say, Amen. What seems to be missing?
Word death.
Says nothing
Word
about
death.
death.
There's nothing sad. There's nothing about death. There's nothing about we mourn. I don't know about Christian rituals at a gravesite. So you say this at the gravesite when you actually go to the cemetery, and you say this in shul. You say this when you have shiva at night, and you say this when if you go to morning minyan. There's not a word about death, dying, mourning. There's not a word even, not even a word about the mourner. If you find that odd, why do you think that is? What does it say? What are we talking about in this prayer?
About God, it just praises
Talking about
God.
God, the very first word, Yit Gadol. What does Gadol mean?
Great.
Great.
Great or big. Yit Gadol means he will be made great. He is great. And here they translate it, may God's great name be exalted. Yit Gadol. But literally in Hebrew it says, he will be made great. Yit Gadol. The Yit Kadash, the root Kodesh, what's that? Yit Kadash.
Holy.
Okay, so it says he, meaning God. I'm sorry for the Yud ladies, if you're a big feminist, the grammar would change, but this is the way these prayers are written. They're written a long time ago. So the first one, he will be exalted or made great. And the second, Yit Kadash, he will be sanctified. Shemei Rabbah, what are we making great? We're saying what is great about God. Shemei
His name.
Rabbah. His name, may his name be exalted and sanctified. And Rav, his great name. I mean, I wouldn't expect that in a prayer for the departed. Bi'olma divra chirute. Bi'olma, what's olam?
World.
In the world, And then it goes on. V'yamlich, what's melech?
King.
King.
King, and he will reign in his kingdom, Malchute, V'yamlich, Malchute, B'chayechon. What's Chayim?
Life.
Life, B'chayechon, in your lifetime, Uv'yomechon. And what's Yom?
Day.
Day.
And in your days, in your years and in your days. Okay, let's see. Uv'yomechon, Uv'chaye, and in the days, the whole, and in the days of all of Israel, the whole Beit Yisrael. By the way, Ethiopian Jews are called Beta Israel. Okay, Falasha means stranger. They don't prefer that name. They like to be called Beta Israel. Okay, Uv'chaye the whole Beit Yisrael. Bagala ubizman kariv, and in a close time. What does Ve'imru Amen mean?
And we
And
say,
we say, Amen.
And say, it's a command, and you will say, everybody says, and we all say, Amen, may it be so. So that whole first thing is all praise of God's great name, right? It kind of strikes us as a little strange. Any philosophy here, any idea on why this prayer never mentions death? It only extols and glorifies and sanctifies God's name and God. Why?
It probably helps us. I mean, you're sometimes angry when somebody dies, and it's obviously very sad. The person's close to you, but this is to remind you that we don't question God. That what He does is what should be. So, I think when you praise God, it kind of keeps you in that direction as opposed to the other.
Right, it's almost like a spiritual crutch. There's some things are forever, some things are unchanging, and those things are in our life. That's if we accept those, if we believe in that, then there's still something, someone that we can believe in that is a protective force in our lives, even though we can't see it. Sometimes people have had feelings that they're protected. I think I told you, I feel that I walk with angels, and I had this bad fall. And when I got up and I realized that I hadn't broken anything, when I went to the doctor, I said, the angels were with me. They were in front of me. It was like a cushion. I could have broken my hip. I would have been in the hospital. I would have had surgery. I would have been convalescing. It would have been horrible.
Awful.
And I think I had a cushion there.
Mm.
That's what I feel. I feel that. No one can tell me different. And I felt that, you know. If I'm on the road and there's a crazy driver and he swerves in front of me, well, I say some choice words, but again, I feel that I was spared. It could have been a horrible crash. So, and I feel that it's my responsibility, this is a two-way deal here, to look for opportunities to help people, to do something positive in the world. And I really feel that's my responsibility. And if I give that up, they're going to disappear. I know it sounds a little meshuggah, but everybody has their own meshuggahs.
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't
Yeah,
think
and
so.
it's a comforting feeling. It is a good feeling that I'm not alone.
Right.
Okay. Well, anyway, so let's start practicing how you say this. Okay, because there's a lot of words, these are our homey words. Okay, you can say hello to a lot of these friends because you can recognize these roots. When I send you your little test, you'll prove it to yourselves how much you've learned. Okay, I'll say, you'll say it after me. Yit gadal,
Yitgadal,
the yit kadash,
Yitgadash,
shemei rabbah.
Shamei Rabbah.
Now, there's an aleph. So rabbah in Hebrew would be resh, bet, hey. This is a prayer in Aramaic. And you can tell because instead of hey, all the words that end in aleph in modern Hebrew would end in hey. Okay. So some of the words like shemei is a little different than shame. In modern Hebrew would be Hashem, Hashem Rabbah, Hashem Harabah, or Shem Rabbah. And it wouldn't be Shemei, but Aramaic, it's Shemei. There you go. Now you're reading Aramaic. You can tell everybody that you can read Aramaic. The Talmud is written in Aramaic, just to make it fun.
That's the ketubah.
Yes, the ketubah. So the next one, that ayin is aw. The alma, the alma, the alma. Remember, we're reading Aramaic. The alma, d,
D,
vera,
Ura,
kirute.
Kirute.
Okay.
Kirute,
Good. The yamlich,
Li,
malchute,
Malchut.
Malchute,
the chayechon, uviyomechon, uvechaye, dechol beit Yisrael,
Yisrael,
ba'agala,
Agala,
uvizman kariv,
Izman, Kariv,
the imru.
Uru,
Amen.
Amen. Okay,
Amen.
so that's the mortars and mourners and anyone with a yard site. So when you stand up in synagogue, the rabbi will say all the mourners and those who are observing a yard site on that day. It's Shabbat, if you're going on Shabbat, and they say this, and you have a yard site that day or the night before, you stand and the mourners. Okay, and then everybody says, now here is something that is a very wonderful part of Judaism. When you sit Shiva for 7 days, you're supposed to cover the mirrors. You're not supposed to cook. You're not supposed to think of anything worldly. I remember when my dad died, I had this black dress and I ripped the collar. You're not supposed to shower, put on makeup, and you're not supposed to think of anything, other than be in a mind with you thinking about the person who passed. And if you don't rip your clothes, which I did, you put a black the black ribbon, and it has a cut in it that someone's been cut out of our lives. Okay, very dramatic. But for those 7 days, people come to your house, they bring you food, they sit down with you. You're supposed to sit on a low chair. They sit with you, they talk with you, you show them pictures, you reminisce, you even laugh. They bring you back. They bring you back to yourself from that lonely, horrible place. And they bring you back to the regular world by their presence. And that comfort. And then we have Shloshim, the 30 days. And some people have like a little ceremony in the synagogue at the end of 30 days. A little memorial, and people come, relatives come, and they talk about the person, and they have personal stories. So that sense of togetherness, biachad, and community, I think is a tremendous, tremendous aspect and a plus in Judaism. For 7 days, people don't leave you alone. They come in your house, the door is open, it's unlocked, and people coming in, and they come in, they come out, they come back later, they bring you things, and they're with you because you're not alone. Relatives come you haven't seen in a long time, kids come home from college, grandchildren come, everybody comes, and you are surrounded by affection and concern. And I think that's tremendous, that sitting Shiva and the Shloshim is a tremendous thing. And when you are in the synagogue and you're saying in either a yard site and I thanked all those people who came, all those there were 8 men who showed up. My husband and I were 8, and the two of us, 11. I thanked each one personally for coming out, to the synagogue to say Kaddish, but we didn't say Kaddish, but just for the yard site. So now people in a synagogue, you'll hear a large voice, congregation and mourner, Yehei, Shmei, Rava, Yehei, Shmei, Rava, Mevorach, La'olam, Ula'olmei, La'olmei, Olmaya. So now you have how many people come? 30, 40 people may come to your, Shabbat service. Now, everybody is saying that with you. If you go to a Friday night service or a morning minyan or a Shabbat morning, and everybody is saying that. You're standing up, you're showing everybody, I'm the one, and people will come over to you. If it's just the Shiva, the first 7 days, they'll come over to you, they put an arm around you. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry. I love that person too. I think that is really very helpful. And then the mourner, now you get a chance to do this on your own.
Can you repeat that line?
Okay, again.
Yeah, Yehei Shmei.
Yehei Shmei Rabba Mivorach Leolam Ula Olmei Olmaya. Okay, there's a lot of awes in there.
Yeah.
A lot of awes. Okay, now the mourner says, and say after me, Yitbarach,
Yitzhak,
V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yitaleh. I'm just going to pause here for a second, and I'm going to ask you this question. My rabbi or the cantor, whoever's leading the Kaddish, or even a lay person who comes, they say this particular prayer, they do it in slow motion practically. They say it very slowly. Why do you think that is? Well, my rabbi can read it fluently.
Say it with them, people that are not that
Right.
well versed.
Not everybody is well versed as you ladies are in Hebrew reading. Okay, and if they zip through it, that would leave the person trying to say this like, hey, wait a minute, I can't follow you.
Right.
So that's that feeling of understanding. Not everybody reads Hebrew well. You have to be, and some people are following the bottom. Some people are following the bottom, which is, I cut this out and I put it on this page, which is a transliteration. I find that harder to read, frankly, than the Hebrew
me too.
because it's like a foreign language, because these are not words in English. So you have to decode them first. You have to say them and it takes more time. Okay, so we're on the second line of where the mourner speaks. V'yit halal.
Halal.
So you can see the word halal in there, praise, and he will be praised. Shemei,
Shemay.
Kudisha,
Kedusha.
Barich Hu,
Barish,
Barich Hu.
who,
La'ela. Now on the high holidays, they insert that like above, and that means like, and beyond above. So the high holidays, if you're wondering why they said La'ela twice, La'ela, because it's a holiday and you're praising God's name even more than usual. So La'ela, but that would just be you don't say the ones in parentheses when you're sitting Shiva and when you're saying the Mourner's Kaddish. La'ela min kol birchata.
Birchata.
B'shirata.
Shirata.
Tushbechata.
Ushbechata.
V'nechemata.
Nehemata.
Da'amiron. V'olma.
Ma.
Imru amen.
Amen.
If you lost the place where it says mourner, go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the 5th line, which starts with Yehei. Put your finger on Yehei. Yehei Shlama.
Shama.
Rabba.
Rabba.
Min Shmaya.
Maya.
Shmaya is like Shemayim, heaven. V'chaim.
Ayim.
Aleinu. V'al kol Yisrael.
Israel.
V'imru amen.
Amen.
You know the next line. Oseh shalom bimromav.
Shalom. Bimromav.
Hu ya'aseh shalom.
Ya'aseh shalom.
Aleinu.
Aleinu.
Yal kol Yisrael.
Israel.
Imru amen. I'm moving to another room.
Hebrew. Amen.
They must come every day, every time on this. I'm just gonna move. All right, we're gonna play a little game. They always come at this time. It's like, I can't win. My husband said, go in the bathroom and shut the door. I need a special room. Okay, I'm gonna try to. Okay, I'm going here. Okay, we're gonna play a game. I used to play this in Hebrew school. It was called Shark. So you have to be on your toes for this one. Okay, to play Shark, let's take a look at this again. Somebody will start reading, and if they make a mistake, somebody else can raise their hand, and they continue. And what we used to do in Hebrew, kids in 7th grade, they love to be competitive. And so the one who got the most points from being a shark, because let's say you read 4 words and you're good, but on the 5th word, you make a mistake. So somebody would jump in and they would say the word correctly or raise their hand, they get called on. And then it's how many correct words you have read. Can you hear them in here? I went in the back bedroom. You can still hear the guys?
Yeah.
No,
Can you hear me now? Okay, it's just like when they come to the front and he's getting every leaf. Okay. Now we got the dogs. Okay. When I can go downstairs, I'll go downstairs. I can't win. All right, well, let's let's try it. I'm surrounded by leaf blowers. Okay, well, let's try it. Who would like to try to start and read it slowly? Oh my God, between the dog and the, I'm gonna close the door with the dog. It's like craziness. All right, here, close this door. We're walking. Okay, now. God. I want to make sure they get their money. Actually, my lawn looks great. They are fantastic. I have a Central American crew. I think 2 of them are from Mexico. I don't know where the other one is from, but they're my buddies. Okay, so who's gonna start? Who's brave? All right, Diane is gonna do it. So everybody, you keep her on her toes. Let me just see if I, make sure. I have to see if I have the let's see if I took it with me. I know it by heart. I left it inside. Okay. All right, you know what? Let me just, well, I can't run, but let me get yourselves together. I'm gonna just run inside and get the I left my prayer book. I'll be right back. Oh, well, this is as fast as I can go. I'm running. As fast as I can run.
No need to run.
Yeah, don't get hurt.
No. Mm-mm.
Do any of you go on Makom Biachad? Have you ever heard of it?
No,
It's a group of women that started because they needed to have a minion during COVID. And there was nobody. So they started doing a Zoom meeting with just minion, just to have a minion. And then it just evolved into, it's basically, we read Psalms, we say Kaddish, and we have 2 rabbis that come on and teach us. And every day we say the mourner's Kaddish. So I'm like, I have this almost memorized.
Is that Makom Bayachad?
Yes, we do that.
That Denise
3 days a
Makom
week.
Bayachad.
3 days a
Rabbi
week.
Sella is in my congregation. She's a friend of mine, an old friend of mine.
She's teaching
North
me.
Shore
Yeah,
Jewish
I'm
Center.
learning trope from her too. Because I'm
She's
gonna
teaching trope.
well, we're gonna
How do you
have
learn trope from her?
that we're doing Zoom. She's doing it on Zoom, and we're having a B'nai Mitzvah at the convention in July, and I'm going to be one of them.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
we're going to be
are you a
reading.
part of the Bat Mitzvah class?
Yes. Yep.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
I'm enjoying it a lot. But she told us the other night, it was our first class. I did not realize that she became a rabbi at 65. God bless her. God
Yeah,
bless
she was
her.
a math teacher.
I know it. She's wonderful.
And she retired from that, and then she went to the Jewish Theological Seminary in Manhattan.
Yep.
She used to go in by train every day and come home late, leave early and come home late.
Yep.
And she gives a really nice drush. The
Yes.
other day, Women's League, in our area had a cookbook author on. I was not that impressed with her, but I really liked Margie's her drush about things are looking up. That was the most interesting part of the evening. The speaker was very disappointing to me. I've done cookbooks for different like Sederite programs, and this was not a great speaker. Okay, so Diane, I've got my book. I'm ready to roll. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I'm in.
Remember, you have to interrupt her.
Okay. Yiskadal v'yit kadash shemei rabah b'omal di v'ra kirute v'yamlich malkute v'chayechon uvyomechon uvechaye d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agalah Uzman Kariv Vimru Amen. Yeah.
Wow. I just have one question for you. I'll interrupt you.
Okay.
I'll be the shark. For the
Okay.
first one, you said Yiskadal, and then you said Yit Kadash.
I did.
So are you used to hearing somebody in the family, like an older person, speaking with an Ashkenazic accent?
I think so.
Because they would say somebody who went to Cheder in the old country, or maybe was from Brooklyn or Bronx and religious, would say Yiskadal v'Yiskadash,
Yep.
Yeah,
right? Francine, have you ever heard that? People
Oh,
saying
yes.
Yiskadal v'Yiskadash.
Yeah.
They learned it drummed in their heads. Like
yeah.
Denise is saying she can do it, but when we do it in modern Hebrew, we would say Yitgadal, the Yitkadash, and all of those tavs would be tavs, a t and not a s. So what Denise is learning from Rabbi Sala would be Yitgadal and Yitkadash. Okay, so whatever you do, just keep it
Consistent.
parallel, keep it the same. Okay, that letter will always be the tav. If you're going to pronounce it like Yit Gadal, keep it like that. Okay, that was very good. Come on, you guys are too polite. Someone should have jumped in over
She didn't
there.
make any
Okay, Kim.
mistakes. She didn't
Well,
make
that was
mistakes.
the only thing that my ear heard. Otherwise, it was fantastic. Keep going.
Yehi Shemei, Rabba Mivarach, Leolam, Uleolmei, Uleolmei, did I say that right?
You did.
All Maya. Yisbarach,
Okay.
V'yish Tabach, V'yis, V'yit, I'll do V'yit, or you want me to say it the other way? V'yit Pa'ar, V'yit Roman, no, V'yit Romam, V'yit Naseh, V'yit
Mhm.
Hadar, V'yit Haleh, V'yit Halal, Shemei Tekudashah Brechu.
Somebody should have jumped in. There was a minor mistake
Where
on that
was it?
second line after mourners. You said V'yit Hala. V'yit Hala, I think you said. Anyway, keep going. V'yit Halal. Keep
I don't know
going.
what I said.
Nobody caught it, so you're safe.
Shemei Tekudashah Brechu Le'ela.
It's Brichu, isn't it?
All right, Brichu.
Okay, you got it.
Brichu.
Yeah.
And that was Francine. Take it away. That was great. You probably would have won the prize, Brichu.
But I'm lost. I don't know where we are.
Okay, you see where where it says mourners, the second line at the end is Brichu.
Right, okay.
So you can start with the next one, La'ela.
La'ela, I'm gonna skip the parentheses. Min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'alma v'imiru amin. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'miru amin. Osei shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'miru amin.
Yofi, I'm so proud. I feel like a mama hen with my chickadees. I'm very proud of you. The reading was really beautiful. Really, you guys have advanced so well. You're really pushing yourselves and you're doing excellent. Now, if anyone, very religious person says to you, I'm going to pay like a chassid, so I'm going to pay to have a yeshiva boy in Israel say the morning's kaddish for you, say, no, toda, but no thanks. I can do it myself. My son-in-law, when my dad passed away, said, I will pay for yeshiva boy. He told me exactly that. I'll pay for yeshiva boy. And I said, no way. I said, I am the one sitting shiva. My dad, I'll say the morning Scottish. And I think, I don't know how he felt, but
Yeah.
that's the way it is. So you're independent. You don't have to have anybody do this for you. You can do it yourself. Unfortunately, it's not exactly a wonderful time, but you know what? You're strong in that you can do this. It's just another piece of your learning and your abilities. And I'm very proud of all of you. It's really amazing. Now, I did want to ask you, we have a little bit of time left. So I wanted to ask you, there's a lot of prayers that they showed me that are going to be done at convention. And I will be preparing you on those. Is there anything in particular that you ladies would like me to teach you on prayer? Like I know Ashrei, so we did Ashrei, and we did the Birkot HaShachar. Nancy?
I'd like the prayer for Israel, please.
Oh, that's a good
Oh,
one.
I would like that too.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
good idea.
Yes.
Does, okay, our cantor sings it. He goes,
Yes, it is
Avinu,
ours.
Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, and he sings it. And then the end part, he kind of just says it. So we could learn that, and then you can follow along, you can sing that. It's really beautiful. Okay. Does anybody have a Siddur with them? I'll put that down and I'll get that out for next week. Anything else? Janice, what are you practicing on those lessons? Anything in particular, or is it just like vowels and sounds? What are the
There's a
lessons
lot
like?
on there. There's a lot on there that's more advanced that I want to get, that's conversational and, modern Hebrew. So I'm just focusing on the alphabet and just, getting more, more comfortable with it. So I'm
Fluent
doing
with
it,
it, yeah,
more
yeah.
consistently.
Fluid,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, that's what I want to
Yeah,
do.
fluent. Like there's certain letters. Okay, there is a page that I saw in this practice book that has pairs of letters that look alike that could stump you. So I think that's going to be my practice page for next week, because that's very important, because when you're trying to read quickly, your eye grabs something, and if you're not sure of what you're looking at, then it's a mistake. Okay, then you really can't pronounce the word correctly. Anything else? We got the Friday night prayers down good. We have candlelighting, we have washing hands, we have wine, blessing the children. We have all that. It's good. Anything else? And then when you go to services, you feel.
How about Elena?
Didn't we do Aleinu?
We did Elena.
We could
Right.
do,
We did
no, we
Aleinu.
could do Aleinu.
We just,
I thought we did Aleinu.
we did.
Didn't we do it? I know we did Ashrei. I know we did Birkot HaShachar.
Oh, maybe we did.
Aleinu L'Shabeach. Maybe we didn't. All right, we can go over Aleinu. I see like the big ones, the big prayers. Okay, prayer, we could do next week. We could do them both. We could do Aleinu. We could do the prayer for State of Israel, for Eretz Yisrael. Okay, anything else that's particularly?
Is there a list of words that we should just know on sight? What my frustration is that, when I'm, at a service and I'm trying to read, I'm so slow that, I'm getting left behind. And there are some words that I know on sight, but is there, like, when you would teach children, is there a list of words that,
There
you should have down?
I
that you-
have the teacher guides from Noah Galinkin, Rabbi Noah Galinkin, from Shalom Aleichem, and also the next book that he wrote, which was Ein Kelohenu. And by the way, do you guys all know Adon Olam well to sing it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we all good with Adon Olam and Ein Kelohenu? Okay, so I can take a look and see if there's, what I used to do is give vocabulary list when I would teach a prayer, and I'd give like Melech and Chaim and Yom and Yamim, and so I can start doing that, and I have been picking out words from the prayers that I think are important, but I'll see if there's like 100 Hebrew words I should know. I mean, I have got Hebrew textbooks, conversational Hebrew textbooks. So I don't know if you want conversational Hebrew words, like, yeah, well, see, if you're looking at a book for conversation, it's going to have like Yelid, Yalda, it's going to have regular words, like a kindergarten kid. If you're looking for my 100 prayer words, then I'll look in the Galenkin book. But like I said, I've been trying to show you those, like Malchut and Melech and words that are related. And you'll see that they're Shoresh related, they're root related, like Kiddishanu, Kodesh, Kiddush, so there are groups. I think in prayer Hebrew, it's more important to have the words that come from the same root, because those words repeat all over the place in all the prayers. So that we could do, we could, that's an idea. I could make up like a little prayer vocabulary with roots, with words that are related.
That would be good.
And I think, because that's what you're reading in the prayers, that might help. And that's an interesting idea. I can start working on that, and I can send that. Okay, prayer for Israel and Aleinu,
How
yeah.
about the Kedusha?
Okay, we could do the Kedusha. So the Kedusha in Shabbat morning is a little bit different from when we get to the Kedusha, which is done at the time of the Torah service. What the Kedusha that we do in a Musaf after the Torah service. So the middle part of that is a little bit different. So is that the one you like? The one that's done right before we do the Amidah? There's the Kedusha, and then it continues with the silent Amidah, and then the cantor will sometimes do the repetition of the Amidah.
Which I'd also like to, I know the beginning of it, but that's another thing that the Amidah, the repetition, I don't know. Or just the silent Amidah.
The Kedusha, the weekday Kedusha is 18, actually 19 blessings. You say 18, but it's, if you look at it, it's really 19 blessings. All the little ones, there's a prayer for the establishment of the temple, and there's a prayer for our judges, and there's a prayer for the land. There's a lot of, and good health to people, where you can insert someone's name. So the weekday Amidah is longer. Shabbat Amidah has, as you would figure, 7 blessings, 7 brachot, only 7. So that's an easier one to get to, because if the other one is very long, that would take a long time.
Right.
And I think I told you once before that I do omit a few of those on Shabbat and the weekday, for the one that says the establishment of the temple, because that would mean a jihad. If we established in Israel where the mosques are right now, the Dome of the Rock, we would have a holy war. We would have a civil war in Israel. Imagine, we'd have to demolish that and build another temple with a capital T. So I don't pray for that. There's enough tension and fighting in Israel right now than going and praying for jihad. I mean, that would be very bloody. And then if you establish the third temple, you had the first and the second, which were both destroyed by the Babylonians, and the second temple by the Romans in 70, well, they would say AD, we would say AD, Christians would say AD, we would say CE, Common Era, we would say 70 CE. But if we had a third temple in Jerusalem on the Temple Mount, we'd have to start fulfilling all the mitzvot about sacrifices.
Oh,
With the bloody apron of the Kohen Gadol, we'd have to bring that back. You'd have to, if you had another temple, you'd have to institute temple sacrifices.
oh God.
Which I am not in favor of, and I don't pray for that. The reestablishment of David's city and the temple, I don't pray for that. So I look at them very carefully, and the ones that don't sound good to me, I don't pray for those things. I use selective judgment in that. I don't know if I'm gonna fry for that, but I just don't say those things. I don't say what I don't believe in. I only say what I truly believe. And those I say with all my feeling and honesty. Okay, so we want to work on the the Kedusha, which is really nice. And then there's melodies that they do, and on the high holiday, the melodies are different for the Kedusha, but we can at least learn how to do that. Okay, I've got a good list now, and continuing with the Hebrew alphabet. Have you all heard Charlene knows this? I played once the alphabet song by Debbie Friedman. And Aleph, Bet, Bet, it's a repetition. Aleph, Bet, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kav, Chav. And this, the long letters, the final letters are not in the alphabet song. They are in the alphabet, but not in the alphabet song. Maybe I'll let you hear that. And then there's also, last week's portion was Lech Lecha, and Debbie Friedman has Lechilach. She put it in the
Yes.
female.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Lechilach, to a land that I will show you. Lech Lecha, it's beautiful, right? So if you've never heard of Debbie Friedman, you should look for that Lechilach on the internet.
Very pretty.
It's just beautiful. Okay, so, well, it's time to go, but I'm glad I had this chance to talk to you because I know the direction in which I will go. And I hope that it will help you. I'll have my Debbie Friedman alphabet song set up. We'll go over the Kedusha. We'll work on a little dictionary of prayer vocabulary. We'll work on Aleinu, the prayer for Israel. I have my work cut out for me. And by the way, I sent a text to Julia Loeb to ask her when this semester is over. Now, in the past, if we wanted to go a little further before the semester, I think the spring semester probably starts in February, but if we wanted to go in January for a few more lessons, we could certainly do that without interfering with those who want to move up into intermediate or whatever, or those who want to continue with advanced. So it's up to you what you feel you're ready for.
Okay.
Okay, and it's all a feeling of readiness, and intermediate is not that scary. They're gonna do, I have taught intermediate, it's more of the same, only there'll probably be more prayers and more reading, and maybe the pace might be a little faster. And you won't have so much review, the review of the sounds of the letters and those odd combinations. Okay, so
Right.
we are going to now say lehitraot, everybody, lehitraot.
Lehitraot.
Hitraot.
What does that mean?
Lehitraot, and that means see you next week. It means until we see each other. Ro'eh is seeing, lehitraot, until we see each other. Okay, lehitraot.
And Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Everyone.